Hello, one and all. This is Kevin the Apptrepreneur, and welcome to the monthly Rideshare podcast. I am one of the hosts, and in fact, I am probably your only host today because your driver, Mike, Mike, Uber Hints. I screwed up his name. I'm not gonna hear the end of that when he comes back. Mark from Uber Hints came back, is not here, and neither is Cecily from Drive Girl Drive. So I guess.
Hey, wait, I'm here.
Who are you?
I'm Aaron, your personal driver. You know, like we did a bunch of videos together and like we met in San Diego and like I know you a lot.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wait, now I know. We were talking about your channel on this podcast last week.
Yeah, you talked about my channel and forgot to invite me on. That was nice.
Yeah. Well, I think there was something in there about we actually discussed it, but we decided, you know what, we're probably for more objectivity, we're just going to discuss it amongst ourselves behind your back first to give our unfiltered opinions. But we always did intend to have you on the podcast. So since no one else showed up, this is probably as good a time as ever to discuss the situation and hear the story from your point of view.
You thought that you were just gonna talk by yourself for an hour but then you're like, that's a long time. I'll go ahead and invite Aaron on, I think.
Well, yeah. I mean, my therapist says I do that all the time, so.
Yeah, well, the internet is a good place to talk to yourself if you're going to do it.
Right. So, anyway, for those who might not be aware of who you are or what you do, why don't you introduce yourself and say what your channel is about, and the basic stuff.
It's Aaron, your personal driver. YouTube channel called Your Personal Driver. And recently I got disconnected from Uber for the video content that was on my channel, which is what we were talking about last week, I think.
Oh, is it disconnected? I thought it was deactivated.
Or deactivated, yeah, right. Well, fired. I got fired. They don't like to say things like fired because we're technically, quote unquote, not employees, we're contractors. So I wasn't fired, I was uncontracted.
Yeah, you were just not invited to come back, and the access to your account was mysteriously taken away, and you were told in no uncertain terms that you were not able to drive for them, that they didn't want to know you, but you weren't fired.
Yeah, I was fired. It arose by any other name, right? You can call it anything you want to, but it's and the result's the same thing.
Right, exactly. So now, can you actually tell us why you were not fired, but just simply not invited back to drive for Uber?
Right. So if you want to, on my Instagram, which is the same name, Your Personal Driver, I posted the entire the entire letter, and most people use Twitter. It's on Twitter too, same thing. YPD YouTube is my handle there, and then I posted the whole letter. It's like 7 pages basically.
Oh well, the funny thing is, I actually have that. So you know what? Because this is a podcast, let's just look at. I think you sent me 4 of the pages. Let's look at what they sent you, because this is just. I don't think a lot of people. I mean, the funny thing is, I hear people say that they get deactivated from Uber all the time, and I kind of wonder about that because, most of the time people are back a week later saying how it was so slow night, and it's like, wait, I thought you got suspended from Uber.
Well, first off, before we go further, you need to understand that it's not people deactivating and suspending you at first. It's an algorithm.
Oh, so
yeah. Your boss is again, you're not a contractor, so it's not technically a boss, but the person who supervises you is literally like a database. And so there are certain complaints that drivers will send in that are read electronically by a computer. And if it hits the wrong thing on the algorithm, you're just deactivated or suspended. And the thing is, it's like it keeps a tally. So if you do 1 or 2 things negative, then they'll automatically shut you off without able to actually even talk to a person, which is what is complaining about. The other frustrating thing is when it happens, it's not given a reason. So if someone, for example, wants a free ride and they say that like you sexually harassed them, or you were racist, or you were drunk, or any of these like instant deactivation claims, as soon as the computer algorithm receives the complaint from the customer, you're just deactivated. Like no hi, no what's going on, no did this happen. It's just you're done. And then it's on you to go back to Uber to try to get reactivated. But good luck, because you can't talk to anybody.
Yeah, I believe Time Magazine, like about a year or so ago, they wrote an article which I thought was a very good article, and the article was titled "The Invisible Boss," and the whole point of the article was discussing the kind of shaky nature of the gig economy, where it's like if someone does get deactivated, like they don't call it fired, but it really is fired, and who do you talk to about it? What's the reason? And they pretty much acquitted the whole thing to it's like having a job and you have a boss that's giving you instructions, but you don't know what those instructions are and you don't know where he is or how to talk to him.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. So your boss is an unknown computer algorithm. So, but anyway, that's beside the point. So that's originally what had happened is I got flagged, and the funny thing is, I got a total of 3 flags, and none of them were from passengers. So it was all from third party people who I hadn't actually driven around complaining about it.
Well, how does that work?
I don't know. That's the thing is I like at least with Lyft, because the same thing happened on Lyft too, but Lyft didn't deactivate me. Lyft was like, "Hey, we got this complaint. What happened?" And then I emailed the person, "Hey, here's my channel. Go check it out and see if I violated any terms of service." And then 3 or 4 days later, they came back and I was like, "No, you're fine." But I didn't talk to anyone at Uber for a long time. And then when I finally did get somebody, that's when they wrote me that long, the long email I just sent you.
Yeah. Well,
but when I did talk to someone on the phone, and I was like, "Well, if you can tell me which ride it is, I can go through my history and I can tell you if what was going on." And they said, "Oh no, it wasn't a passenger." So the complaints came from somebody else who either watched or like just plain didn't like me and then submitted it to Uber. Which is it's just an insane thing. So the customers that I live streamed didn't mind. It was somebody else who was complaining about it earlier, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, actually it does make sense because I have a kind of a situation, and it might be considered a little different from what you're going through, but the principle's the same because once in a while I will make, well, not once in a while, thankfully once in the last year and a half, I kind of mentioned that I'm really tight on money, and some people do want to help out, but they don't like to give away money. It's just something they don't do. So some people say, well, hey, you say you have like an Amazon and eBay store, right? Why don't you just share your link to the Amazon and eBay store so that we can buy something from you and support you? And I kind of freeze a little because it's like, oh, I mean, really, I would love to do that. I mean, that should be the sane thing to do. It should be. The problem is when you're public, even just a little bit, there's a lot of people, even a few people, who just hate you for some reason, and they will do what they can to destroy you. And the last thing I want is for someone to buy something on one of my stores, specifically with the purpose of leaving a negative feedback and doing that a few times with a few accounts to get me to lose my business. So so unfortunately, outside forces from people who just hate you and they will do what they can to make sure your livelihood is compromised is unfortunately not an outside the box concept.
Well, what I think what happened is you remember the Smurf dude got all kinds of press, not only on YouTube, but like in the traditional media, right? On TV news, on newspapers, stuff like that.
I've actually reached out to see if he would like to come on the show, but I've never heard back.
Well, once that happened, I think people around just were like, "Whoa, we got to investigate this further." And I think that's what ended up happening is somebody like heard about that from Smurf, and then was like, "I'm just going to report everyone. This is crazy," or whatever, something like that. Because also the thing is I wasn't actually recording the passengers. I mean, you could hear the audio, but I was recording my phone. Which actually sets up a whole nother
passengers though.
Yeah, it sets up a whole nother ethical question for that too. But I specifically didn't want to put somebody's face, live on this stream, and so I think that what I was doing is just incredibly different than what Smurf was doing. And but I guess in the end it didn't matter.
Right.
Actually, even the live streams once the Uber person reviewed my account, that didn't even bother them. And I have my theories as to why that isn't. We can talk about in a second. But what ultimately prevented me from being able to work for Uber was my pre-recorded video. It's almost like a Ryan is driving video, except it was just a 4-hour block of me doing one shift of Uber in Seattle. What I had done, though, is I had dubbed my phone and put the phone in with the visuals of the customers on the road. So I had a camera inside, a camera outside, and then the dubbing of my phone. And that video is really what kind of like took my YouTube channel to where it is now, which I know 3,000 views or 3,000 subs isn't like the biggest YouTube channel ever, but it's way bigger than I ever thought I'd get to. Because they complained about 4 things. One was using the Uber logo without permission. The other was the way I recorded my phone had the customer's information on it, right? So there's that. Live streaming in general, they complained about. And then the big one was the referral code, because off the top of that video is my referral code for Uber, Lyft, and I think Maestro at the time. And so I couldn't go back and edit the referral code out. It's 4 hours of video. I mean, I guess I could have, but then that's the most popular video on my channel. So
and it would look ridiculous. You'd probably you'd just be able to put like a huge bar or something over it, and it would look weird.
Yeah, and so the problem is 2 things happened at the end of September and the beginning of October. Is Uber changed its policy about live streaming customers and referral codes. They only want you to refer people you know personally. And I know my account got flagged because I had a referral code from India. Someone emailed me and told me, and a referral code from Canada. And Uber emailed me and said, I can't refer people outside the country, which I guess was already a policy, but I have no control over what they do. If someone gets my referral code in India and uses it, how am I supposed to prevent that from happening? I guess not putting it online. Anyway, so that was already there. And so that was
yeah, but you bring up a good point, though. Really good point. I just thought of it. I mean, what if someone theoretically signs up through Uber, through you or me, like say we use our referral code, and I don't know why they wouldn't use their own referral code. Maybe they don't think about it, like, oh yeah, use this referral code, I'm going to get like a bonus. Like they don't realize they have their own. Like, is that okay? Like does that person doing that violate the terms of service for us?
Yeah, I have no idea. I mean, it just, who knows? But here's the thing, is Uber liked my channel because I had a particularly high rate of referrals. And on top of that, I was the only channel that showed how the app worked. And I think the majority of my followers and subs enjoyed the fact that they're new, they don't know how the app works, there's no training. Well, they could watch one of my live streams from how to log on, accept a ride, and drop somebody off, how to deal with problems. So someone left a phone or someone left a wallet or something, someone pukes in your car, those sorts of things. They could watch it live and it would help them right off the bat because they don't know what they're doing. And it filled like basically 2 essential roles for Uber. 1, the free promotion and the referrals, and 2, the training that they don't give their drivers.
Right. Yeah, no, it's crazy. It's crazy how that all works. It's just so. What do you think the issue really was? In your opinion, do you think it was the referral code, or do you think it was the live stream?
Oh, well, it was the referral code. I haven't live streamed since September anyway.
Oh, okay.
Because October is my birthday and it's my wife's birthday, so I took it off for that. And then November I haven't been working because I've got to pack up the house and get ready to move to Ohio. So I haven't done any live streaming since Uber's changed their policy. And so they can't, I mean, and the thing was, when I talked to the guy, I was like, so if I just take down my live streams throughout in my history and take them off, would that be fine? And he's like, no, that's not okay. You need to take off that one video. And so, if they're just if they're not willing to work with me, then that's, I'm done, I guess. I feel like that's incredibly reasonable to take down the history of the live streams and to just say I won't do it anymore. I don't see why that wouldn't solve the problem.
Yeah, well, we've talked about it on this podcast. I've talked about it on my channel that, Uber is definitely like really for lack of a better word, pushing their luck, like saying what you can and can't do. And it's like, I really remember the days when it's like we really could just do pretty much anything we wanted. And it's like, and people say, well, they're a company, they want to protect their brand. And it's like, well, if they want to protect their brand, they'll have employees and they can tell the employees what to do.
Well, if they wanted to protect their brand, they wouldn't sexually harass people every 3 months either.
I mean, that too.
We've had like 57 or something like that current actual employees or administrative people get fired for sexual harassment.
Oh, and how many of their executives have been fired for sexual harassment, including one 3 months ago that I honestly forgot to report on. But yeah, that was a thing. It's like, in fact, I even remember, I don't know why I didn't make the video. I think something came up, but I remember when an executive got fired for sexual harassment a couple months ago. I remember even like the first joke like pretty much had written itself like, so a year later and a new CEO and Uber executives still getting caught with their hands in other people's pants.
Yeah.
But it just it did not work out that well. So,
well, the thing is, like Lyft, I got the same complaints, which is another way that I know that whoever reported me isn't a customer. Why would a customer report me on Uber and then Lyft? How would they simultaneously take the same rides? But Lyft did their due diligence and contacted me, and we talked about it. And basically what I said was, I don't live stream on Lyft anymore. If you look at this video, it's an Uber video, because at the time it wasn't against the terms of service. And so the Lyft guy was like, yeah, you're right. So I don't know why this, basically he didn't say this, but he was basically like very polite in saying that there's no reason you should have reported. I don't know why we're wasting your time, and I'm sorry. And they reactivated me. So the difference between the back end customer service of Uber and Lyft is night and day, regardless if you like the rest of the company or not, because I talked to an actual person who made an actual smart decision.
Right. It's kind of fun. It's interesting because I do hear horror stories about Lyft. I don't want to say I don't. There are people who have vastly different experiences with Lyft than you and I have had. But in every time that there had been a problem, Lyft was always the more responsible one. Someone usually called me. It was just a complete night and day difference. I've talked to Uber people. They've called me twice because I had 2 really bad rides. And in both cases, the calls didn't seem so much like we're calling to find out how you're doing or we're calling to resolve a problem. They kind of seemed almost like they're like, we're calling to see what the likelihood is you're going to sue us.
Yeah. Well,
I'm sorry, that's what it felt like.
Well, it's hard to change culture, and that's a term that it can be used lightly and maybe overused, but Uber has a culture problem. I mean, it stems from their first CEO. They broke laws. They bent the rules. They didn't care about ethics. They did whatever they had to do to get the Uber to be out there and used by everybody. And now that they're an established company, they're trying to change that culture, and it's hard. Because it's been there. It's for what, 7 years?
Oh yeah, Jesus, it's been around 7 years already. Jeez.
Yeah, I feel old too.
Yeah. By the way, just a funny little side note. I don't know if anyone listening to this have seen Ralph Wrecks the Internet, but did anyone notice that they had the Uber logo in there and it's not the current logo? I just thought that was great.
Yeah, I got 2 kids, so we saw it already. It was actually not a bad movie. So I rank movies differently now that I have kids, because I have to see every stupid cartoon that comes out in the history of the world. So like, it's like I fell asleep as a 1, and hey, I didn't hate that movie as a 5.
That's definitely a different rating system. I give it 3.5 stars for the record out of 5.
Yeah, it was an okay movie. It was pretty good for a kids movie. It was much better than the ones I've seen recently. Oh,
well, it was better than The Grinch, that's for certain.
I didn't hate The Grinch either, but you're right. It was better than The Grinch.
Yeah, it's fun. It's funny because I actually watched the new Grinch movie. I don't remember liking the Ron Howard movie that much. It was like, okay, that's needlessly long, and they put all these innuendos in there, and it's not very pleasant to watch. But now I've watched the new movie, which is it's cute, but it's bland. I'm kind of like, boy, I have a lot more respect for what Ron Howard did. He actually found a way to stretch this out into 2 hours and make it work.
Yeah, I still think that the new animated one is better than the live action one that came out with Jim Carrey, but that might just be me.
Yeah, I think the live action one's well, neither one's good. So I don't know what I'm defending per se, but I guess on a scale of, you know, if like the new Grinch is a 2 and the old one was a 2.5, I don't know. So
yeah, we're basically fighting over small inches of badness.
Yeah, that's like fighting over which one's better, McDonald's or Burger King. It's like, I'm not really sure if this is an argument worth having.
I mean, also, it's clear that it's Burger King, and if you think it's McDonald's, then you're a trash person, and I don't want to talk to you anymore.
Well, I for the record, I do think it's Burger King. I actually do like Burger King. I'm not gonna lie. We are getting way off topic here. I'm sure this is what my viewers like coming into. They like coming into discussions of animated films and fast food debates.
No, you can only know about, think about, and talk about Uber-related subjects. You're not allowed to be a human being. You can't be well-rounded, and you can't have any opinions other than rideshare-related ones.
I'm wondering if that's true, because I actually put like a video up, like top 10 video games I love but never finished, and the views on it were every time I do a non-Uber related video, the views are so bad that it's like it's actually kind of a little depressing, because it's like I want to branch my channel out, but it's pretty clear that, you know, just no one's watching them. So anyway,
how's it going, you guys?
Oh, what's up? It's Dark Road Run in the house.
Oh, where'd you come from?
Just I found I paid off or I got a tip from the people that hacked Uber, and they told me how to get into live streams. So
okay, well, I guess we now have 3 people in here. So all right, I guess we could talk about something else. Let's hear. So we just talked about. Sure.
Okay. The one thing, and we'll drop this subject if you don't want to talk about it, that's fine. But I feel we haven't covered the ethics of live streaming yet.
The ethics. That you're right, and we did want to talk about that because there were people in the live chat for the last podcast. We won't name names, but there were some people who were very vocally against what you do, and the 4 of us in the podcast talked about it, and this probably is why we didn't want you in the room the first time, Aaron. We all more or less agreed. We think live streaming on Uber rides is kind of creepy. We typically don't like it, but where we definitely got split on is the legality and whether or not you should be allowed to live stream or not. So,
I'm not even okay. So, ethics is an interesting question. Legality isn't an interesting question to me, and I'll tell you why. On a public road, you can do anything you want to. You have no expectation of privacy on a public road or a public sidewalk. Anything you do, anything you say, you can do anything. And proof of that is Google. If you go to Google, you can see everybody's actual house. You can see into their windows. There's even been naked people on there, right? Because if it's the picture or the video or the audio is taken in a public place, there's no expectation of privacy. One exception to that is a cell phone. So if you watch my live streams, whenever anyone gets on the phone, I turn off my audio because you're not allowed to record a phone call. All phone calls are considered private, and it has more to do with law enforcement than it does to Uber drivers, right? You don't want anyone listening to your phone calls. Yeah, in a public road, there is no expectation of privacy. If I want to, I can take my camera and I can put it up your skirt and take a picture of your underwear. That is a constitutionally protected Supreme Court decision, which is creepy and gross, but not illegal. And that's also why you get celebrities coming out of cars, and you get these crazy TMZ people trying to get their upskirt pictures so they can sell it for $1 gazillion. It's so live streaming. And of course, I'm not an attorney, and I haven't been sued or anything like that. But I'm fairly certain, as long as you're not on a private road, you can do it. It's not any problem.
And you're moving to a state that's one party too. I think you're going to Ohio, and then
yeah. Well, I wasn't recording video anyway. It was recording audio. So the question wouldn't be, can I live stream the video? It would be live stream audio.
Oh, well, I pretty much had the opinion, like, if you had stickers on the car, which I recalled you did, and
All
you did
four
all these
windows,
things,
man.
and it was I figured it was like I defended you on a legal basis that I was pretty sure legally you were covered in all the areas. If they didn't want to get recorded, they wouldn't get in the car because they were warned on all the windows that they would be recorded. But then of course, now we got to get into the ethics of it. Is it ethical to do this necessarily? I will say, as far as your live streams go, they are far less egregious than some of the other things that I've seen. I did watch some of Just Smurf's videos, and they're mostly tame, but then for those few times where it's like they're giving away like their public address, like they're discussing their public address on the video, and they don't know that it's being sent out to the world, then it's like, okay, I can see at least a moral argument against this. Not so.
I hear you there, and I'm a little torn on the ethics myself, and I feel like the ethics line is drawn along age. So if you're older than 30, you have a different concept of privacy than people under 30. All of my under 30s not only liked that I was live streaming, but wanted to join the live stream conversation and subscribe to me and became like long-term friends. The only complaints I ever got were from the over 30s. So like you have that millennial-ish divide there where people think that they shouldn't be recorded, but people growing up, they've been basically live streaming their entire lives, so they got no problems with it at all.
Yes, in a way, Uber live streams every ride because they save all the analytics, and when you give them authorization to use your microphone, that means that app can use your microphone at any time they want. So and they're recording accelerometer, where you're driving, what time
And who knows what's going to happen if you have like an Apple phone. I remember having a conversation with someone from work. Church. We were at lunch after service, and we were talking about surveillance and stuff, and he pointed out, like, he pulled up his iPhone and he said, "Hey Siri," and Siri did that little thing, and everyone's like, "Oh, well, who cares?" And he was like, "I've got the microphone turned off," and he showed us the settings, and sure enough, the microphone was turned off. But there's certain things that they will. The thing is always recording whether you agree to have it on or not.
And here's the thing. Anyone who complains about live streaming, I guarantee you has a Facebook account, and all of their information from their credit card to their bank account to their address is now in every governmental hands or every third party, what do they call them? Ad company. It's that people complain about it, but they don't realize that none of their information is private. And here's the thing. I will agree, because I've tried to find a solution to this, which is where the customer's pickup and drop off location are obviously shown if I'm dubbing my phone. And I've always been really weirded out by that, but I just couldn't figure out a way to edit that out necessarily during the actual live stream.
That's what I remember. We were trying to get an OBS remote link to your home computer as like a server or something like that.
I mean, because that information isn't private either. So your address is public information, but I felt weird about letting people know when they were leaving, specifically because if I'm picking you up and dropping off your airport, that means you're going on vacation. And so then people could know that you weren't home, for example.
Right. Or even a more extreme example. I mean, this is less likely, but unfortunately it does happen. You hear the horror stories of someone who's like watching the news, and they were like looking for like an ex-girlfriend or something, and they see that person on the news, and they now have an idea where that person is. And so if they're watching like a live stream, because you have no idea who's watching your live stream, you might be giving information to someone about a person's whereabouts that maybe you shouldn't be doing.
Right. I feel you there. And then the other thing is it has to do with popularity. Like when I started doing, I had a little over 150 live stream videos, right? But at first it was me and like 5 people, right? Like nobody cared because nobody watched my channel.
Yeah.
Right.
And then after I posted that Seattle video, I would easily get 600 to 1,000 views on the live stream. And so that's another problem is, it's one thing when it's just a couple of friends having some fun, but then when it's this huge community, it's a lot harder to control that. You know what I'm saying?
Does that basically mean like Ryan is driving as one that has done an amazing job with that channel, getting 700,000 plus subscribers, but is he kind of out of content now that they can't do
well, the thing about Uber is it's never consistent. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Okay, Uber operates like a terrorist organization, and I say that not because they're actual terrorists, although that might be debatable.
Yeah.
But they're not. There's no centralized like authority. Okay, they set up little different Uber locations that are basically autonomous all over the country. So what Uber does in San Francisco isn't even the same thing that they do in LA, isn't the same thing they do in Minnesota, isn't the same thing they do in Florida. Each cell operates on its own and then gets directions from big Uber over large things. So when I was in Washington, Uber may not have cared that I was live streaming. When I came to California, they may have cared, or big Uber might have told the terrorist cell here in San Francisco, hey, we don't want live streaming anymore. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I see what you're saying.
So maybe in Florida, they have different rules. Plus, the person who first started live streaming was Uberman. He's no longer Uberman anymore. Now he's like Car Fix It Man or something. I don't know.
He's Auto Auctions Rebuilds, and I've tried to tell him like he might need to catch your name, but he's still getting subscribers. So what do I know?
Yeah, he apparently that was an untapped market that was resource rich because he blew up doing the car rebuild thing. But anyway, the point I'm bringing him up is he had the number of his local Uber like affiliate.
That's right. There was a video he posted like 2 or 3 years ago that Uber came down on him for doing live streaming his rides, and then he checked with his local hub, and it's like a local district manager of Uber, and then they said it was okay. They said it all checked out.
He was able to call Uber about a lot of things and just get information.
Right. Well, because he was the first channel and he was the biggest channel for a long time. So if you have 200,000 subs, good and close to 500,000 subs here, like Ryan is driving, I'm sure his local affiliate has contacted him and has worked something out. Now, that's also why I say my channel has been a testing ground, because 3,000 subscribers isn't going to scare Uber. They can fire me and then it's not going to bother them.
Right.
But if they fired Ryan is driving, he has a lot more pull in the
remember when they fired Uberman and they got a lot of flack for that, and they reinstated him like a week or so later.
Right. Yeah. So they don't want people streaming, and they don't really want negative press. So they start with the smaller channels, and then if they get away with it, they'll go to bigger channels. And then eventually somewhere on that spectrum, you're untouchable. But I mean, where that is, I think they're trying to find out still.
That is interesting. One of the in-depth videos on reading into the terms of service that Kevin, the Apptrepreneur, has done, it specifically, they wrote it into the contract that you can't say anything publicly negative about the company.
Credit due where credit's due. Peterson helped,
and Peterson's
he guides me through the terms of service, and then I usually make videos based on what we go over. So he's a very valuable source for that. But yeah, they put it in there that you couldn't say anything negative about them, which now I'm here, I've got my headphones on, with a microphone, and it's like, bite me, Uber.
Yeah, so
that's what I'm saying. What chat right now? If anyone's from Ubers, I love Uber. I love you guys. You guys are awesome.
Frustratingly, I love them too. I just
to be deactivated.
What YouTube channel other than The Simple Driver has never said something negative about Uber?
Rideshare Revolution.
Yeah, he's a fan. He seems to be
pretty close.
Yeah.
He's more realistic though, so he'll tell you the bad things about Uber, but he'll say is it's still not as bad as it's like if you have a chart good versus bad, there's still more good than bad. Is what he'll say.
Yeah, well, hey, if you can find the good, more good than bad, then hey, more power to you, I guess.
That's the other thing is my YouTube channel isn't the only one promoting a referral code either.
That's another,
what they do is once they've made the decision that they're going to get rid of you, they go looking for specifics. So it's not that they're looking on all the YouTube channels for referral codes, which is why I think maybe if it's in your description as opposed to in the actual video, you should be all right, at least now. But they're like, okay, we're gonna get rid of him, so let's find everything we can to build a case, essentially. Even though there's no judge, like I couldn't go to somebody. Like I would like to appeal this, I would take this arbitration, but no.
Well, I thought they wanted you to go to arbitration, though.
Yeah, but I don't want to work for Uber anymore.
It's
Here's the thing, guys, is like it made it a hard decision easy because I don't want to do Uber in Ohio because the rates are so bad. But I still wanted to do.
Here?
I still, man, I was making $35-$40 an hour here. So I mean, the rates are bad, but also remember that the incentives are the best in San Francisco versus the rest of the country.
Oh,
yeah,
that's right. You're in San Francisco.
Surge all the time. So I mean, I was working like anytime you can make over $30 an hour doing something that is not technically a job, you do that thing as long as it's not sex work.
Right. Yeah. No, we don't encourage that.
But I don't want to. I don't want to do Uber in Ohio, and I was torn because of my channel. I liked doing the live streams with everybody, and I didn't want to let people down. So I was like, well, I guess I could find a day or two to still do it in Ohio. But Uber made that decision easy for me, and now I don't have to worry about it. I just won't do it in Ohio.
You guys both have worked very hard to build a YouTube channel that has a YouTube channel has so much more potential than Uber driving. I mean, you see these channels making. The sky's the limit on what you can make on a YouTube channel. There's a certain amount of hours in the day and miles you can put on your car is doing rideshare on there. So from day one, it's like the best thing to do is have a backup plan if you have it. But I'm glad you didn't delete your channel, Aaron.
Well, and also, I don't think he was going to do that because here's the thing. YouTube channels are our personal channels. It doesn't always seem like it, but we do put work into them. And so someone comes and starts dictating what we can and can't do with that channel. We have this tendency to resist. Like, no, that's my baby. I've worked on that. I have built that. That's just the way.
Plus, it was an easy decision. Okay, so I said it like this to some people in private. If your girlfriend comes up to you and starts making ultimatums, like, if you don't cut your hair a certain way, I'm going to break up with you. If you don't do A, B, and C Monday through Friday, I'm going to break up with you. If you don't wear the certain type of shoes, I'm going to break up with you. I hate to tell you this. It doesn't matter what you do. She's going to break up with you. So if Uber's making outrageous demands or they're going to fire me, that means they're going to fire me no matter what I do. So the more demands I give them, the worse it is for me, the better it is.
That's true. That's true. We're all just one email away from being deactivated on this.
And at least I have a public forum to complain about it. There are thousands and thousands of drivers out there who just get disconnected without any reason. They just say you've been deactivated, and they call and they go into the public hub, and they aren't given a reason. They're just deactivated. And
Lyft is the same way. Especially what they did to Savage Scientist is ridiculous. It's the same old tale. It's happened thousands of times to other drivers, but it's like some passenger makes up some ridiculous claim of a safety violation that he has dash cam footage that it isn't true, and Lyft took the passenger's side. Because probably the passenger wanted a free ride or ride credit. There's no, we're all at risk of that. And Savage Scientist is in the chat.
Yeah, he is. He is in the chat. Hey, Savage Scientist. I should email him again sometime. Just I don't know for any particular reason, but yeah, he had like a bad story. Well, and I had that bad story with DoorDash, and they suspended me, and they did not care.
Yeah,
and they just it was like just ridiculous. But then after they saw the video and I complained about it, then it was kind of like, oh yeah, you can come back in, but please take down the video. But then they deactivated me again. I just didn't care again.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So what happened is they reactivated you, and they're like, "Oh, take down the video. Oh, say nice things about us," and they deactivated you again. So that's why you don't give in to ultimatums that don't make any sense.
We don't give in to terrorists.
Yeah, you don't give in to terrorists, since we've established that Uber operates like a terrorist organization.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Terrorist might be a strong word. Maybe we should say something
Yeah,
lighter, like
when I was
fascist
talking about,
dictator.
I was talking about the organizational structure more than I was talking about their actions, right? You have a bunch of individual cells operating by themselves that don't talk to each other. They only get commands from above.
The corporation is too massive there's too many differences in these markets to have just one standard for there's so many different regulations on it. Although they are very efficient in dealing with, like, when Austin, Texas wants to fingerprint drivers, and then they Uber corporate and Uber and Lyft get together and they say, well, we're just going to shut down in Austin, Texas until you comply. And then sure enough, they're the city caved and they're back.
Yeah, well, that's not true. That's not true. The city didn't cave.
They didn't.
Austin was operating fine without Uber. So
I was really disappointed in how that's. Okay, I got to rant, folks. I just have to rant about that because it's like that was such nonsense. Austin was proving you didn't need to kneel to their demands. You could work on your own. You didn't need these things, and yet they still caved. They proved they didn't need Uber and Lyft, and they caved anyway.
They didn't cave. You guys, they didn't cave. This is the part. See, this is why Uber is so good at getting false information out there, because you guys are both wrong. The state changed the law. The state overruled Austin, Texas. Uber withdrew from Austin and started lobbying at the state level.
Oh, so they went,
and the state changed the law to exempt Uber and Lyft from fingerprinting in the whole state. So they went above Austin's head. But you're right that Austin proved that you don't need Uber. In fact, there were 5 different Uber-like apps that popped up immediately, and one of them was rad because I was hoping it was going to come to California because a driver could save your profile in their phone and specifically request you, and you got a bonus from the actual company for multiple riders doing the same thing. So you could retain riders, make extra money, and it was just in general good because you got more of a payout than you did from Uber anyway.
Well, California, San Francisco, 2016, and San Jose Airport both wanted to get the business license thing going. And then Uber's response was they did the same thing. They went to the state level, got a California Senate bill to exclude rideshare drivers from needing business licenses unless you live in an area that requires the business license. But there's still confusion because they're not going to give Uber's not going to give information of where their drivers are, where they're driving or picking up to the city level, so they can prosecute the drivers for doing without a business license. So there is it's the law's there. We do need a business license, but hey, we got
one other thing I'll say. Hey, what's up, Savage Scientist? Is the best thing that ever happened in Austin.
Savage in the house.
What's up, Savage? Hey, you got to turn your video off, Savage.
How did you get in here?
Let me turn off the video.
Yeah,
man, I got hacked again. Dark Road Run Show emailed the code to me.
there's an add-on for OBS.
Shoot, I got to get new security.
Kevin, I was live streaming your live stream.
What's next? Okay, what's next? I mean, are we just gonna have like 6 people talking around nonsense and nothing happens? I'm sorry, I'm changing security next time.
But anyway, one last thing about Austin, because I'm not done ranting about it, because Austin was the best case scenario for everything. They had a non-profit rideshare that shared all the information monthly, so you could see how many people were taking rides. You could see where they were taking the rides, how much the costs were of the rides, how many drivers there were. It was all public information. It was awesome. And now we don't have that anymore because Uber came in, the nonprofit had to shut down.
Yeah.
So did Uber have some type of rights on that market?
They do now. They went to they petitioned the state. Well, they don't have rights to it. They were exempted from the laws.
My thing is how Uber of all people could go to the government and say do something when they the main one. It's just like you said, it's just like the axis of evil. It's just like China, North Korea, and Iran. It's just like they are just ridiculously, breaking the law. But then they at the same time they're breaking the law. They want the authorities to enforce some rule just so they could be greedy and put money in their pocket.
Isn't that what a typical business is? I mean, I'm a capitalist, but that sounds like a typical business to me.
It is a typical business. Pretend like I didn't say that.
Well, what you're talking about is without ethics, which I think is the different.
Yeah.
You know, in 2018, we're expected to operate businesses with a certain amount of ethics, especially now that they have the internet, right? I mean, every millennial has a cell phone, and before they even buy a washing machine, they're Googling who the CEO is, who they donated money to, like if there was any kind of labor disputes or slave labor in another country or something like that, before they even buy a damn washer. But when I was growing up, you just went to Sears and said, "Does that washer work?" And the guy said, "Yes, it does." And then you just bought the washing machine. It's just a different world now.
Right.
Also,
Well,
I like to make a correction. Christian in the chat says that Ride Austin is still operating, which
yes,
is
they are. I just looked them up. They are still operating.
That's awesome because all their
All right,
information
that's
is
good.
public. You can see it, all the analytics.
Is that the same as the arcade? What it was, Arcade City?
That no, Arcade City. Are they still around? I would be surprised if they're
I think
they're
they
still around. But let's see here. Well, they have a site still, but I don't know what. This doesn't look like a rideshare site anymore. I see. This is where video would probably come in handy, but I think it would just be fun to have people look up on their own computers.
Mm-hmm.
You type in Arcade City and you find it, and it's like I don't know what this.
Christian,
Let me
Pierre, is that how you say that?
Right.
Since I'm not to say his last name, I just say Christian P said it was a scam.
It might have been like, no, that is the okay. So yeah, that's interesting because here's the thing: the Arcade City website, when you click it, it's like this 8-bit pixelated video game city, and it shows like a little. It looks like a Princess Peach avatar, and everything's like all 8-bit and stuff. So that's why at first it was like, I don't even know if this is a writer thing. But if you go to Bing, and I'm assuming Google would be the same way, but underneath it says blog, so it means this blog is associated with this website. And I click on it, and sure enough, ride sharing for the people. The last time they updated, they updated this like on May 23rd. So yeah, and they even have like a picture of what the old website looked like. So the website definitely changed.
BitConnect.
So,
all right.
Arcade City would make a good video game company, or that's a good name for it.
Yeah. I guess that's what that 8-bit look comes from. The fact that they making it look like an arcade game.
I would really like, now that I'm looking at this, if it were up to me, I would have like a 3-story building, maybe 4, maybe even 4, and it'd just be like an arcade, and like the higher you go up, the older the games get.
That would be cool.
So,
you know what?
like
that is a good idea. You got a lot of ideas that need to be patented. Yeah, start off with
put the bar at the top.
I don't know if you could actually patent like having a multi-store.
What is the concept though?
Yeah. Although on the other hand,
it's just like Uber. Uber is like use a phone, use an app to see your ride coming to you. Uber could have patented that, and it wouldn't be a Lyft.
Yeah.
So
you're right. I don't know why they didn't patent that. I mean, the funny thing is, MoviePass patented the credit card thing for their service, and that's why Cinemia doesn't use the card anymore. And it's like, how on earth do you patent that? It's a credit card.
And streaming could have been owned by Blockbuster. If Blockbuster would have bought Netflix and patented streaming movies, all that crap over the internet, then everything would have to go through Blockbuster.
Well, Blockbuster made 2 big mistakes, because here's something that people forget about Blockbuster. I know this is a little off topic, but Blockbuster was actually going to get into streaming video first. They were actually building it years before Netflix was even a thing.
I remember that.
But
didn't they get scammed by WorldCom?
No,
I mean, not WorldCom.
No, their partner was Enron.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can probably figure out what went wrong there.
Oh,
Speaking of capitalism,
late 90s references. That's cool.
Yeah, I heard that. I think you was talking about that. That's where they came from.
Yeah, Enron, the smartest guys in the room, is still one of my favorite.
That was a great talk. Yeah.
I do not look. I understand why it lost to it lost the Oscar to March of the Penguins. Which it's like, okay,
let's not talk shit about the March of the
I'm about to
Penguins.
look that movie up.
About the fight.
Look, I like that movie, but it's like, no, this is clearly a better
Those penguins
movie.
love their kids. Okay,
Yeah.
that is a desolate ice wasteland, and they are the only thing bringing any happiness to an entire continent.
Actually, you know what was really funny about March of the Penguins that year was that at the Academy Awards, out of all the movies nominated, that was the highest grossing of it. That documentary grossed more money than all of the Best Picture nominees. That was like more people saw March of the Penguins than they saw Brokeback Mountain or the big winner of the night, Crash or Capote or Good Night and Good Luck.
Man, that was a really bad year for movies, wasn't it? Now that you said that, man,
yeah,
I was one of the worst years for movies. They're all terrible movies.
I liked all of those and Munich. I liked all of those except Brokeback Mountain.
Munich was a really good movie. Munich was a good movie.
Yeah, so I liked all four of those except Brokeback Mountain, which I should probably rewatch that. Maybe I was in a bad mood the year it came
I fell asleep during that movie, so I am not going to go back and watch it.
So it
was boring.
So it's not just me then. So
no, but I mean, come on, Penguins with background music. You can call it talking, but I call it music. Because his voice is so beautiful.
So Penguins won.
Oh yeah, they actually made a sequel to March of the Penguins. It's on Hulu. I don't know what the sequel's about. But Morgan Freeman's back.
Morgan Freeman's doing it? I will listen to anything Morgan Freeman talks about.
You should hire Morgan Freeman to do their.
It seemed like he got that commercial voice he could start doing in the world.
Yeah.
Before the time. You know, that guy died. I remember he was in a Geico commercial. I'm not gonna lie, Geico. You know, insurance is a definitely faulty product. So they're gonna spend all their money on advertisements. Mm-hmm. So that's why they can hire the guy who do movie trailers.
Michael's asking why Uber caps tipping for riders who want to tip more than $20.
Here's the official reason that they have given.
I like cash.
Yeah, the official reason they have given, and we all know this isn't true, but we're gonna state it anyway, is because of fat fingers. They don't want people with fat fingers to give too much money for a ride. Really, I think I personally think it's because they don't want to give the drivers too much. If someone wants to be generous, because I remember one day, like this wasn't even that long ago, but Katie was doing Uber and she got a $20 tip in cash one day, and then she got the next ride, and the next ride was another $20. So she made over $50 in less than an hour. And she said, you know what, heck, I'm just going to go home now. I made my money.
That's a good point.
I think Uber doesn't want that to happen because everything Uber does, and they're kind of transparent about it. They always say, we're doing this to keep you on the road longer. It's like that's why they want to cap the surge. That's why they want to cap the tips. That's why they want to lower the rates, because the less money you make, the more likely you are to drive longer periods of time.
Well, that's why they delayed tipping for so long.
Oh yeah,
that we found that out with that big leak they had. Is they don't want what they found out is if you got enough money in tips, you made as much money as you needed to make that day, you went home. So you're absolutely right. The second question is, why do riders get a panic button but the driver doesn't? We do have a panic button now, don't we?
We do, but I would not recommend anyone actually use it, because if there is especially if you have a volatile passenger who's threatening you, the last thing you want to see him to see you doing is pressing a panic button calling 911.
That's right. Kevin, you made a good point about that, where your screen will show it says using panic, but like it's in a large font so that it's not this kind of, oh yeah, I'm just gonna cancel this ride, don't worry, you'll get a refund or something. No, you're pushing the panic button. But,
right, they make it very clear that you're calling 911, and I don't know why they don't do it more stealthy, to be honest. Although with Uber, everything that makes perfect sense, obviously they can't do that.
Yeah. And you noticed in the new app that it's hard. I mean, whenever you go online, you see how hard it is to go offline.
Oh yeah. There's you have to
very
flip up
difficult.
the menu and then scroll to the bottom, and then it's it's not.
I mean, and another thing, like I don't care what Uber say, but I'm gonna do a walkthrough on why this app sucks. I'm gonna talk about, and I'm gonna compare it to the old app, You know, since I still have a micro-sized channel, I think I could get away with it. But I'm gonna talk about the difference between the new app and the old app because I'm an HCI expert, and I think that I have the rights to be able to do that. And I haven't talked about Uber in a while. So I'm gonna just mention the fact that
bring in more savageness.
It will not be. I mean, I've been had this video recorded, but man, I'm taking grad classes now, and they've been killing me. So the semester is almost over. So I'm about to go into full production in the month of December, and one of the videos will be the difference between why HCI differences in the Uber old app and the new Uber app, and I'm going to talk about how hard it is and they have some things. I don't want to spend a lot of time on this because I know you have a streamlined process on your thing. And see, I just got garbage Uber XL call. I'm going to decline that. Talking about Uber, and now I'm getting calls. Let me turn off the app. Yeah, so I'm actually doing what I've been talking about just now. So what I'm saying is that it's harder to do things in the app.
My experience driving was that here's the thing. I did think it was easier to turn on and off. I didn't go into it as far as you did. There were things about it that seemed to make sense, but I was also very aware of things that they were taking away. Like the fact that, in the middle of rides, it did make it harder to say this is the last stop. The fact that they did not let you see your acceptance rate or cancellation rate, which the cancellation rate is kind of important. You can get deactivated for that. And the thing about that app, and this was why it caused such a storm. Here's the thing about, I'm going to share a story, or at least I'm going to share an opinion. Mm-hmm. I suspect that my channel peaked around that time talking about Uber, which is why I'm trying to slowly introduce some non-Uber stuff, because I think that was the straw that broke the camel's back. I remember getting so many views, so many comments when they announced we're going to announce something big, and people were waiting, incorrectly, of course, for a raise. Yeah. And it was a new app that nobody wanted, and nobody had any issues with the old app. And I was there feeling basically the hurt and the betrayal in everyone. They were just so angry that Uber wasn't getting it. And with the exception of the Robert Ortiz thing that happened recently, I just noticed my engagement dropped significantly. Some people who are regulars, I haven't seen them for a while, because I think a lot of that was like the point when a lot of people just gave up.
Was it less? Yeah, but it has a nighttime mode, guys. So the colors change at night.
I've never liked those nighttime modes. It never made any sense with Google Maps or anything where it's like, oh, it's night, we're going to darken the map. It's like, no, I want it bright.
That's what every driver wanted. When Uber asked, they're like, do you want a raise? Do you want tipping? Do you want to be able to decline rides and only take what you want to? Do you want Uber Pool or an option to say no to it? All the drivers were like, we just want a nighttime mode on our cell phone. So the Surge is a different color at night. That's very pretty.
I like the purple Surge.
Yeah,
the purple Surge. I guess they're looking at around 2 times Surge is considered too much for us drivers who have to wait 7 hours in traffic. Exaggerated.
Maybe a little bit. If you're not in California, that's not an exaggeration. Anyway, Michael Skilton asks if there's any you guys know about any rideshare information out of the U.S., like in Australia or anything like that.
Yeah, I'm actually going to be making a video about this in the next day or two. But there's a class action lawsuit in Victoria, Australia, I believe. That's one of the largest class action lawsuits in history, and it's against Uber, and apparently it's expanding. It's expanding into other countries, so that will be very interesting to watch. Either that, or maybe what this headline is suggesting really is that this is a lawsuit that is been in America and now it's going into other countries. That might actually be more in line with what it's. But yeah, there's some news stories to talk about. I still have to post that video about Harry Campbell being in the Uber commercials. He's not.
That's another video.
He's not answering my emails, and it bothers me to put it up without having. I'm kicking myself for losing his phone number, but I really wanted to get his comment before I put that up because I do consider him a friend. But yeah,
I've been watching Uber's content since then, and it's like there seem to be like highlighting the most different, like it's non-off topic thing from Rideshare. Like 2 days ago it was some like chocolatier in Dubai who makes fancy chocolates and ships it in worldwide and has something, and for some reason, and then at the end it says Uber moving forward. And then there's another one where it's like there's a guy who's an artist and he's designing sculptures which are really pretty impressive, but he's not a driver. It doesn't say anything about being a driver or anything. And now there seem to be interviewing their own engineers, but it's that kind of sugar-coated, commercialistic, like, oh, this is why we love, the matching system. It's called like the I forget what they call it, but they'll put their like it's a marketing touch on all this stuff. But there's
Kevin,
real
Kevin,
issues.
I just wanted to say, hey Kevin,
yeah,
I just want to say thanks for having me on, man. I gotta go get my kid from school now. So
okay,
I'm gonna let you go. Thanks for having me on and letting everyone listen to my story. I really appreciate it.
Oh no problem. And I'll have
nice talking to you.
I'll have everyone's channels in the links below. This will probably go on a few minutes longer, but yeah.
Right, man. Thanks.
Have a good night.
Have a good one. See you guys. See you Savage. See you Dark Road One.
All right, Aaron. I'll see you later.
You guys
guy.
The real customer support of this company, and you guys like have yet to be recognized as that. Like the Uber tubers out there that post the videos about what's really going on, the real truth of driving, because they're actually they've been out there, they know what it's like. You don't get anything from Uber or Lyft about what to do with maybe having a backup fund. Like
I have a heavily monetized channel, so that I make more than $1,000 a month on, so that's not bad.
Yeah,
that's probably more than what Uber customer service would be paying me, of course.
That's true.
But yeah, Uber. And here's the interesting thing, because I will give like a little bit of a sneak preview because, and again, I like Harry, so that's why I'm a little hesitant to upload the video. But here's why I think it needs to happen, because I know that Uber goes after like big Uber tuber channels. It's not like it's new. They got Uberman involved, and from all accounts, Randy definitely regretted that decision in hindsight. They went after the simple driver, and then they went after Harry. Those are the three. At one point, they even reached out to Cecily to do one of those interviews, and she
turned it down.
She turned it down because it was like not enough.
Yeah, I heard her turning it down.
Right. So people kind of asked me because they said well, here you're making a video about Harry. Why aren't you making a video about the simple driver? And the first of all, of course, I always have to paraphrase, just because I disagree with people doesn't mean I dislike them, and I have no issue with the simple driver either. But the simple driver is not doing what Harry is doing. He's always been, here's advice, here's how you become successful, and here's the tips, here's the secrets.
Which is legitimate.
You always move up in the company. Why would, if Uber reaches out to you, why would you turn that down? And I even remember one of his videos, he said, look, I know people complain about the fares, but you can't control the fares. Here's what you can control. That's just his. I think he's doing the rideshare thing is kind of like a business, which everyone should, of course. It should be a business opportunity, but he always intended to move into management. That's probably the best way to put it. He always intended to move into management, and he always approached Uber as if this is like a stepping stone for the next thing. So. Right. Do I consider his videos to be a little sugary? Of course I do, but he was always upfront about that. And it's not like his videos are worthless. They are informative. So I have no issue with that. The reason I have to make this video about Harry, though, is that he approached this from a journalistic point of view. He had a blog, he did interviews, he was doing the news, Simple Driver, when he's doing rideshare and he's building his business, he's doing it for himself, and he's taking you along for the ride, but it's for him first and foremost.
Right.
And Harry came from the point of view like, I'm here to help you guys out first. That's why I respond to every email, even though he hasn't been responding to mine. I don't know why.
It was impartial though. It was the go-to guy for the media.
Yeah, it was fairly impartial. But here's the problem: when you have, like, I remember when Roger Ebert wrote his little movie film critic rule book, and one of the things he said is like, you don't do cameos in films you're going to be reviewing, because he's like me. Yeah. He's like, me and Gene Siskel got many offers to be cameos in movies, and we felt that was a conflict of interest to be in the movies we would ultimately be reviewing at some point.
That's a good point.
So they made one exception for The Critic, which was a TV show.
I remember that episode.
You know, they made an exception for that because they just couldn't help themselves.
Yeah.
But they were offered to be in Disney movies. They were offered to be in Roland Emmerich movies. Michael Bay wanted them for, I think, Armageddon. They wanted him to be. They wanted them to like die in Armageddon. It was supposed to be funny, but you know, they were like, no, we can't do that movie, and they didn't like the movie, and Ebert actually put it as the worst. So his whole perception was, if we're going to be in the movie, then we can't review that movie because we're no longer impartial to it.
All right.
And that's where I have the concern with Harry. I know it's a commercial. I know it's a commercial. That's not the issue. The issue is that, well, but someone who is making their money off journalism, off being impartial, should you be doing commercials for the company that you are writing about?
Yeah. And did you know that Simple Driver also did a video? Because when I saw the Simple Driver video, that was the last straw. I was like, I started filming a video at that time with a paper sign in my hand, said that I would speak good words upon you, Uber, if you pay me too. So that was how the video was gonna start, as edited, but I mean it's already filmed, but I just never, editing takes so long. I mean takes that's a lot. And then I have a piece of crap computer that really, I mean, it takes a long time, and I'm trying to make it so my videos are good. People want to watch them, because I did end up on World Star Hip Hop.
Oh yeah,
yeah, and on that video, for some reason, people bashed me because I was getting Uber and Lyft mixed up when I, both companies. I mean, we all say, like, if you call a Lyft, you'll say my Uber is coming. So people, internet trolls are relentless. I know y'all were talking about that earlier, but they some mean people out here. But Simple Driver did another video on how to operate the Uber app, and I'm like, that's just like if I go out there and test drive a Mercedes Benz or something. Like, I don't have the authority to test a Mercedes Benz because I'm not a car critic, and I don't think the Simple Driver has that authority. He haven't driven in a long time. Now, if Uber was talking about a way to make money, like, I would think he'd be perfect to do a video on the new star system, because he sounds like as a way to, it's the new star system, or the whatever this thing is, the new tier drivers where you get more rewards. That's more like a business decision, and I think that's something Simple Driver could talk more about, but not about driving and picking people up.
Well, but the Simple Driver did do it at some point, and for that matter, now you're kind of throwing me under the bus, because the last time I drove was to review the new app. Am I not qualified to talk about that? I think if you do this,
but you still want to drive. You still want to drive, and you driven, and I would say your channel is still based on Uber practices. This guy don't really talk about how to be an Uber driver. He did one video about 7 years ago on Uber, and the only time he was, it's just like, since your videos are consistent, you still keeping up with the app. That would give, you don't have to be an Uber driver, because just like me, if I stop making videos on driving for Uber, I still talk about Lyft, and I've been deactivated for a year, but I still have that, but I still bring it up because it's relevant to Rideshare, and the Simple Driver isn't really a driver at all. He should be called the simple website hoster or something.
Well, it's you, Kevin. You probably I would bet you know more about the history of Uber than most of the executives that have come on board in the last 6 months at Uber. Like they haven't followed this industry like you have, and it's like I don't think like Uber doesn't really want like drivers to be in the system for too long because we kind of know how good it used to be. Like
right, and we can kind of talk about what used to happen or how things used to go. So yeah, well, again, I don't have a personal problem with the simple driver, so please, Calvin, don't make an exposed video on me like you did the rideshare professor, who I also get along with. Really, it's kind of amazing how many people I get along with.
I'm not gonna lie, rideshare professor, he is out there driving.
Yeah.
And I mean, and Kevin, I mean, you still drive. Even, I mean, I would say you drive more than a simple driver.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just talking about how Uber decided to go after the simple driver just because he has 70,000 subscribers.
Well, and also he has good video editing, and in his personal life, he's like, I mean, on his channel, he's in pictures with like Beyonce and Jay-Z, and he's got a pretty lavish lifestyle. He's had some successful businesses, and so that's obviously the kind of thing Uber wants to attach them to. And I don't criticize him for having that life. If I had that life, I'd probably be enjoying it too.
Do you think there's a number though that like
I think I'm a hater for that? I'm a hater.
Oh, you can hate him.
Wear my hater shirt proud.
Is there a number that Uber could offer you to do something, to do what Harry did? I mean, I would think it comes down to money too.
I don't think they ever would do that. But here's the thing: the number I have is fairly high. If only it's not because I think I'm special per se, but it would have to be at least a few million. And the reason it would have to be a few million is not because that's my value, but but I'm giving up a lot of potential growth to do it.
He's selling off his credibility on it.
Yeah, so like if my credibility is for sale, then it's going to at the very least buy me a house.
He must have known. He's a smart guy. He's written books about this. He must have known that this would have an effect of being on an Uber commercial that says like how great Uber is. We're
talking about Harry, right?
Harry, yeah. I'd be really interested to see like his next monthly live. He does his live Q&As on it.
I've seen his Twitter account and what people are writing to him, and I've seen the comments on the YouTube videos, the commercials he made, and they were not taken well. To be put politely, they were not taken well, and his credibility is now in jeopardy.
You got to take it with a grain of salt. Like now it's, well, did Uber pay him to say that about the, because obviously he didn't do those commercials for free.
Right. Well, I remember when I was talking with Harry, like he actually asked me that, like if I was conducting the interview, what were some of the questions? And I said, well, I'd ask this, I'd ask this, I'd ask this. And he said, oh yeah, I actually had all those questions, but I was kind of afraid that Uber would that they wouldn't talk to me, or they'd cut the live stream, and that was before he found out that they weren't even going to live stream.
Oh, that was
so he like actually restrained himself from asking certain questions because he didn't want them to cut off the live stream. But then
he was personally selected to ask those questions, and he was supposed to be part of the live stream, the big announcement.
Right. I mean, in all fairness, that he did ask about the rates. But he from what he told me, he said that that after that answer, he had the follow-up questions and he just chickened out. And look, here's where it gets a little hard, because we have most of us have families, and Harry is in a position where he is a good financial situation with Uber. I don't know exactly what he got paid, but if they're calling you, I'm sure you're getting something for that. And it's probably worth something. And you don't want to necessarily burn that bridge, because there have been martyr journalists out there who asked the tough question to the CEO, and not only did they not get the answer, the interview ended early, and then one phone call got them fired, and they never got hired again.
Yeah.
So it's a very slippery slope, and yeah, if Uber started positively reacting to me, I think it would be hard to say no, to be perfectly honest. I mean, I think I've got a little bit more awareness of how they play and what I would ask for, because I've seen it from the outside going in. But yeah, it's I don't know. I mean, personally, my whole thing, like, I always kind of like said to myself, like, if DoorDash or Uber or Postmates ever called me and they said, we don't like what you're talking about, I would write down a number and say, and when they say, is this bribery? It's like, no, you're buying a channel. And once you buy the channel, you can do whatever you want with it. So if they ever like said, hey, you know what, these 1,000 videos, we don't, because a lot of my videos actually are some of the first that pop up when you type in Uber, or when you type in like Uber Eats. There are these negative videos. So if they ever wanted those down, they just simply have to buy my channel. As long as it's enough for me to like get a house or something, then they can have it.
You know, that's you know, to all the people that I've seen for the more than a year, I think it's been a couple of years I've been following your channel. To all the people that say like they criticize your channel, Kevin, because it's all negative. Well, you're reporting the facts. If Uber's stories are negative, the story is gonna be negative. So
and I try to be positive. Like, I was actually fairly positive about Uber Pro, if I recall. I mean, I still, with a grain of skepticism. I mean, well, there's a couple things here. First of all, like, I am trying to give them their day in court, and so when they do something good, which isn't often, but when I try to acknowledge that, and the recent thing was Lyft bothered me a lot, because it was like, oh, you're cutting the pay by 12%. On the other hand, that deductible, oh boy, I'm glad you're reducing that deductible.
That was,
But of course, my big thing with all those situations with Lyft and now Amazon, of course, is like, if you're going to give us something, you're not giving us something if you take something away. Like Amazon says, oh, we're going to give you $15 an hour, but we're taking away your bonuses and your stock options. It's like, well, you're not giving me anything then. And then Lyft says, hey, we're reducing the deductible, but you're going to make 12% less of your money. Like, no.
Yeah, and then you got to say that part with a low, mean, kind of evil voice. We're going to give you 50% more money, but we're going to charge you.
That's what I was trying to do. I don't know if it came through.
I know that. That's exactly. I could just see the Lyft mustache actually saying that.
Oh yeah, I could see that. That too. It's just so. It's
like amp lighting up.
So that
sounds like a dark road run
background. So that's one thing. And yes, Dustin, I do see your comments. I'll read them in a moment.
RDD.
But yeah, he's back. So the other thing though is, like, unfortunately, in reporting, there's like there's not really any objective. There's very little objectivism in journalism anymore. Unfortunately, when you dislike something, it kind of just comes through. I mean, that whole Jim Acosta thing with Trump. Well, really all the reporters who hate Trump, but Jim Acosta, when he got his past bans, like, he got banned for asking questions, and it's like, no, he didn't. He got up and he said, hey, the migrant caravan aren't thugs and stuff. They're women and children. And it's like, was there a question in there? like that seems more like a statement to me. to me, I would like, an objective journalist should probably say something like, so what makes you believe the migrant caravan is a bunch of thugs and criminals as opposed to women and children? Like, but we just don't have that objectivism in journalism anymore. I admit I have a bias. It does show through. When people say you complain about Uber too much, it's like, well, how much positive is there to praise about Uber? Even the other guy who doesn't like me very much has started to drive less because he's getting burnt out. So anyway, but people will always complain about something. And then, of course, the thing that people complain about the most is that they're saying like, we're getting tired of all you're doing is complaining about Uber. It's like, well, I'm trying to make non-Uber videos and no one are watching them. Heck, some of the Uber videos I've made this last week have not done that well. So I'm actually a little concerned about my channel, to be honest. Like the numbers are kind of sad.
You're going to get a lot more content next year when they go public, though. There's going to be a lot of stories.
Yeah, that's probably when we'll pick up again.
Yeah.
So
that's the slowest time, anyways, right?
So Dustin,
they have 33 people watching the stream. Don't forget to hit the like button. I'm exercising my authority as a moderator.
That's right. You are a moderator. Well, so is Dustin. So anyway, let's read his comments since let's hear. I wish Uber would contact me on a video. I would take the money if it's the right price. Yeah, I think most of us would. And you guys would hear me say negative Ghost Rider and the Smackovic. And then he says, I got 4 kids to feed. I'd take some money.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Coven. I love the last video with Ya in your car. Okay, come on, Dustin. I don't know if you're on a cell phone or something, but come on. Grammar. That was funny when you said it feel like me. Yeah. And then he says, read my comment. So, well, anyway, yeah, I appreciate the comment. And so...
Oh, what are you going to do with your ignition coils? Are you placing all 4 or are they your car fixed? Your car's...
well, here's the... And maybe this does give me a little bit of street cred. I don't know. But here's the thing, guys. I am driving Postmates again. I'm trying to make at least $25 a day over the next few weeks because I've got a little time before this is like a major issue. And there's not a lot of driving for Postmates. So I'm making as much money as I can each day on Postmates, like somewhere between $20 to $30 a day to relieve the dent. But I think I would have had to have been driving extra anyway because Christmas.
Oh, man.
Christmas. I got Christmas.
Yeah.
And a PlayStation 4, which I probably shouldn't have got. But it was so cheap and it came with Spider-Man. So anyway, that's that. And also, some people are saying that coils are fairly easy to replace, so I'm going to look into that. Maybe I could replace my own coil.Maybe we can make a video of it, and it could be titled.
Hook up with Uberman with auto auction rebuilds. Do a collaboration here.
That would be fun, except I'd have to drive the car all the way to Oklahoma to do that.
Oh, yeah. I like your live streaming idea and getting tips from the viewers of what to do of the next step. Though that was.
That is a good one.
There's got to be some mechanics in there. I haven't done
Backstreet Driver must be one because he said it's super easy to replace the car.
Must be. Okay, well, folks, this was a much less how should we put it, planned podcast. But we've only got a few more minutes because and here's where I'm going to lose a lot of street cred. I have the new Pokemon movie to see at 7.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You talking about the one? I don't know if that. I saw Pokemon live action movie coming out.
Oh, I may or may not have actually seen a sneak preview of that.
I
cannot confirm Pikachu. Or deny whether or not it was better than it should have been, and I cannot deny or confirm whether or not Ryan Reynolds was awesome in it, but I may or may not have seen an early cut of it.
All right, so you using those government words, like we have a base called in that we have a base in Roswell we have a base in Nevada. We can't say if it's Area 51 or not, but we do have something there.
That may or may not be accurate way of putting things.
Yeah, so you saying you saw it? You saw the movie?
No, I did not say that. I say you may or may not.
May or may not have.
You may or may not. All right.
So
you could also say you may or may not have said that.
Maybe, but I can certainly confirm that that's not the one I'm seeing tonight.
So you really talking? Oh yeah, the real one. I don't even know if this was a real movie.
Tonight's the animated one, but. A couple weeks ago, there might have been the possibility of me seeing a sneak preview of the Ryan Reynolds Detective Pikachu.
All right, there it is. Yeah, Detective Pikachu. That's what I was speaking on.
Yeah, and by the way, I just want to stay here and sit, and I just want to say, just in case family is listening, you know, my mom, my aunt, all the people who said that Pokemon was a fad, that it wasn't going to last. Yeah, more than 20 years later, it's still here, and Ryan Reynolds is going to be in, and Academy Award nominee Ken Watanabe are going to be in a live action American.
I like it.
That's just like that's just so. Yeah, it's still around, folks.
Kevin, you got to move to Japan, man. You got to come with me over there.
Well, the funny thing is, I am going to be taking Japanese classes more seriously. I'm going to really try to learn the language next year.
Nice.
That's my New Year's resolution. And I'm working with people that might even afford me the opportunity to live in Japan and work at their company for a little while.
Oh, nice.
Right now, the holdout is Katie's not sure if she wants to live in Japan. She would
love Japan. She would.
I think she would.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that she's kind of like concerned about, well, it's away from my family and stuff, but Japan's a lot of fun. Japan is a lot of fun. I would, I remember the first time I went there, I actually considered, like, how do I live here?
Yeah.
And it turns out that the requirements to actually become a resident in Japan were not what I was willing to commit to be honest.
Bachelor's degree, in other words, and then you get a work visa as a.
No, not just that, but like one of the things is that if you become a citizen in Japan, and it's hard to become a citizen in Japan, but you have to give up.
You have to give up your
your U.S. citizenship,
or
Europe, whatever citizenship you have. They live under the you are loyal to the nation.
You have your primary residence has to be Japan,
right?
Can you buy property in Japan without being a citizen there? I'm pretty sure you can.
You can, but there are a lot of strings. There are a lot of strings attached to that. Which frankly, with the strings that they have attached, I actually kind of look like, you know what? I kind of think we should have those strings over here to prevent houses from being bought off by foreigners who don't use them.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Henkel just said that that if you have a degree or something, that Canada is a good place to move to.
I wouldn't mind going to Canada. Has some nice things. If my friend Dan and Emily ever moved back to Canada, maybe we'd consider moving with them. We get along pretty well with each other. But anyway, so do we have any final questions? Because we got like 10 minutes left before I have to wrap this up and catch the new Pokemon movie. But
or any questions?
May or may not.
Yeah, any question? Let's see here.
I just, it is so you guys provide such a valuable service out there, all the Uber tubers out there, and I'm including other, like, all the different points of view too, the rideshare revolutions out there. And it's like, you guys are showing what it's really like, because you're going through you look at that big announcement when Dara drove for like 5 minutes in San Francisco on a scripted ride and he picked up his executives. He has no idea what it's like out there. Nor do the engineers at 1055 Market that are making $170,000 a year plus stock. Like, why would they go out and drive for a job that may get them $15 an hour? It's just
engineers need to go back and redesign their product.
Right. They're so out of touch with it.
Do you think the simple driver is an Uber tuber?
Here's the thing. I do feel confident in saying. Oh, sorry, just hiccuped.
Yep.
I'm confident enough to say no, he's not, because he just does videos very differently. Like, he's not. There's nothing about his channel that's about the daily aspect. The daily driving, the business decision. He has his videos are different. All of his videos point to really how do you make money not driving for Uber, but you can exploit Uber. That's what I've gotten from.
I think he'll be a great executive at Uber. Actually,
he'd be an excellent executive at Uber.
I think he would. I think it's almost like he and Dara, they ought to just go there, I mean, he ought to be the CEO of Uber. Well, one of them CEO of Uber, one the CEO of Lyft. It'd be like,
I think
Dara just seems like that.
Well, Dara can keep the the CEO position because he's the businessman. But yeah, if Simple Driver was the COO who has more of a hands-on approach with the company, I think that would be a great team, to be honest.
Yeah.
So when I see we have Chell here, and I wish I had her contact information. She could have been on the live stream.
I can send it to you. I'll send her email. I'll give you her email if that's all right, Shell.
Well, make sure it's all right with her first. But yeah, but I consider the Simple Driver let's look at the Simple Driver's videos just so that people know kind of what I'm talking about. Here's some of the videos. In fact, let's sort it. Come on.
Thank you, Frank. Frank, appreciate it. Franco.
Let's see here. I'm trying to sort it by most. Okay, it's not working, but like here are, from what I can gather, some of his biggest videos. How much money I make driving with Uber a week. Now, that's actually pretty typical to find on most UberTuber channels. They also tend to get a lot of views because when people are just getting into this, they type in how much money can I make doing with Uber, and so videos like these pop up.
Yeah, true.
He has 20 items every Uber driver should have in the car. Then he has Uber navigation, crucial tips for more money. This one, this was the first one that I saw him with, $10,000 a month Uber driver income. And what's interesting about that video, of course, so much of that income is not revolved around driving. So that I think kind of is a good example of what his channel is. He also has Ultimate Uber Money video, how to make thousands, #1 advice for new Uber drivers who want to make money, Uber taxes, income filing, deductions, and documents, how to make an Uber website for more referral money, Uber versus Lyft, which rideshare is #1 and why, should I drive full-time for Uber? This is a 2018 edition. Must have been made in 2017 because it was uploaded 2 years ago. What car should I drive for Uber? Uber driver training video for $600 a week, fast. 20 Uber driver questions that make money. In fact, I'm just going to go through all of these because he only has 30 of them. Uber tipping option, 12 things you need to know. No prank, learn platform requests to drive. Over $5,000 a month with Uber referrals, 6 things you need to know. Uber driver business, how to make $100,000 for 2018. Uber websites are worth thousands of dollars. Cash flow quadrant income for Uber drivers. How to increase website traffic to your Uber blog. The future of Uber for 2018. Uber executive interview 180 days of change. There's 4 of those. 50,000 Uber subscribers, more time freedom with friends. 30,000 Uber YouTube subscribers, how awesome you all are. There's a trailer for the 180 days of change. New driver app updates from Uber. That one is actually the most recent one 2 weeks ago. And Uber success story book giveaway. That was actually about Harry Campbell's book. So here's the thing about his channel. First of all, you see some repeating themes. And a lot of them are the same. How much money you can make, how do you gain traffic? And most of these, the tips he's giving are not about driving. And I think that's technically what disqualifies him from being strictly an UberTuber. Because I've seen several of these videos and most of them, they're giving advice on how to make money using Uber, but around it, that don't involve too much driving. And then things like what car should I drive for Uber and 20 items every Uber driver should have. You actually don't even need to be an Uber driver to know that. You just don't. Like, what car are you going to drive? You're going to drive Uber. Well, you're going to drive the Prius. That's why you get like 100 miles to the gallon. It doesn't take a driver to figure that one out.
I guess that's his videos using Uber in the title, and it's about rideshare. There's a different perspective. I'm going to retract my comment and say, I guess I'll say, yes, he is borderline UberTuber. I don't even like that name, UberTuber. I would not even consider myself a UberTuber because my content is so diverse that I'm really a tech YouTuber. Uber just happened to be a tech company. Right. And that's really how I got tied into this, because I did one video on Uber and that actually was a science video where I was talking about the way the company was ran, and it was. No, I think it was after that engineer killed himself. That was my first video on Uber.
Right, and I would kind of like Uber to just be a subject on this channel, not the main subject. But
right.
Again, people really haven't let me. But on the other hand, like I said, I've been looking at the numbers, and people are just not watching the new Uber videos as much. So it's like they might be making it so that I have to diversify more now. So yeah, we're gonna be. The Apptrepreneur channel might look very, very different next year, but
I'd like to see some more anime reviews. That'd be cool.
Well,
that Japan thing sound good. I mean, I saw I was following somebody on Facebook, and she posted pictures of Japan, and it is a very beautiful country. I know it's beautiful, the architecture, but I didn't really think about Japan is really that nice looking.
Right.
But I'm coming from Louisiana too, so that's saying a lot. I mean, the damn Kalahari Desert look better than Louisiana.
Right. Exactly. Well, anyway,
Kalahari Desert. Should have said the Mongolian Desert.
You're the governor of the state of Swampland, though, so it's
Swampland is in Louisiana, though. Yeah. When I moved to Seattle, Swampland is coming to Seattle.
Nice.
Well. Anyway, folks, that's where we're probably going to end it. This went on a lot longer than I intended, but of course, that's always how it tends to work with this show. So anyway, everyone, thank you for listening. For those of you who did not catch this live, what are your thoughts on any of the topics we talked about? We would love to know. Comment below, like, favorite, share, subscribe. You can subscribe to all of our channels. I'll have the links below probably tomorrow. And as always, flame responsibly. And I'd like to thank the guests, your personal driver who's not here, Savage Scientist, and Dark Road Run, even though those two kind of just paid off security.
We hacked in.
Just walked past the guard, apparently. So.
Yeah, we did. Hey, Dark Road Run hacked the system for us. Anybody, we might need to get the guy that wants to be a moderator in here, Frank L. Franco. He wants to be
Franco. He wants to be a moderator.
Yeah, he wants to be a moderator. But I would just say, I just pull a Nick Nimmin and just say, you know what, engage yourself in the community for enough time, and get to know everybody.
Yeah.
And
I guess that's technically a question, so we'll end on that. If you're an Uber tuber who I like Dave the Uber slave,
Dave's awesome. Dave's cool.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm on the well, anyway, he's gonna have a hammer in a minute. If you're an established Uber tuber in my eyes, then you pretty much automatically get a hammer, unless you're just a jackass like some other people are.
Shout out to Dylan, the Rideshare Hub is another up and coming rideshare YouTuber that I've been following for the last couple months. Definitely recommend that guy out there. There's I want to put together a directory of rideshare YouTubers, YouTube channels, and then you could put in your zip code, and then it'll tell you the channels that are actually that represent that area, because every market's different out there. So
that's a little creepy to think about, but
that's true.
But yeah, so you have to be an established Uber tuber or have a YouTube channel. Like, you have to basically be one of us, so to speak, and then other people who you just seem to be sensible, and we like you, and you seem responsible, then we might give you a moderator status. Now, it can be taken away. I have taken it away once. I won't say who it is. Needless to say, I don't think they come around here anymore. Of course, I always like silently ban people. Like, I silence them. There might be people who have been trolls who comment on my channel every day, and they think they're getting away with it, and really, I'm just not seeing their comments. Because I've hidden them from the channel. I love that feature. It's like, that's actually one of the best anti-troll features ever. You just hide them from the channel and they can comment, they can view, but their stuff isn't seen by anyone.
That's definitely one of the challenges of YouTube channels is you can't please everybody out there. So
right.
Yeah.
So
yeah, if you want to learn how to grow your channel, I would say check out Nick Nimmons.
He's good.
I mean, he doesn't pay me to do any of this stuff, but you should check out Nick Nimmons' channel. He has a lot of information on how to grow your YouTube channel. Daryl Leaves, and there are a lot of people out there who are willing to help you grow your channel.
Right.
And one of the things I do know is that the reason why my channel isn't as big is because I have diverse content, and I like having diverse content because right now I told everybody last year to take Uber out your name, basically. And now those are the results.
That was, you called Uber, it on that.
I never had Uber in my name in the first place because ironically, I didn't want to be the Uber guy, which I think I'm now more the Uber guy than I ever was before.
Definitely, he's passed the torch. Uberman's passed the torch to your channel there.
Yeah, but Rideshare Dustin's the one who really should have gotten the torch because, I mean, he gets so many more subscribers than I do. Like, it's actually
Peterson
rather
also could have been in too.
Oh, yeah.
But I know those two fell out.
Pete
because it's almost like he really did hand him his torch because right after Uberman endorsed Ride with Peterson, his channel started expanding very, very fast.
Well, I endorsed him too. That was like the first.
Oh, you did too?
Yeah, yeah.
I thought it was he did it first, then you.
No,
then it just became a domino effect.
I did it first, actually. I recommended his channel first. Because Peterson told me that after I recommended him, his channel became eligible for monetization because he got so many subscribers from me. So,
man, y'all need to do that for me.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I had you on my podcast.
I'm joking.
I know you did.
I know. Well, actually, I think it's probably because
actually you're the first. You're the first underground rideshare guest host to actually be on the main podcast.
That's true. That's true.
Although you hacked your way in, so I don't know if Dark World Run did that. He hacked the system.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, you could sell that to Russia, man, and you can get paid for that.
I'm having fun. It's Uber. If you're listening, it's all in good fun. I'm using Dara's face to give celebrity endorsements to other channels. and he's got a beautiful singing voice too. So
right.
Those karaoke videos. I mean, I'm Uber. Just keep.
Oh, Aaron came back.
Oh,
he
yeah.
came.
Hey, what's up, guys? I went on the dark web and bought this website. I was just wondering what it is.
I really got a new security, but anyway, guys, we are pretty much out of time for real. So anyway, you know the drill.
Good thing I showed up. Then we're leaving.
Comment below, like, favorite, share, subscribe. And yeah, we'll have all the links below. And
let's get Kevin to 10,000.
Yeah, because after 10,000, you can find out what flame responsibly means. Which, by the way,
you know what? I'm going to India and buying him some subscribers right now because I want to know what flame responsibly means.
It really when I explain it, you will. I think a lot of people are going to go like, "Oh man, I probably should have figured that one out." But
I have an idea, but I don't want to say it.
Yeah, I appreciate that. So anyway, you know the drill, guys. So thanks for listening. We'll all be back doing our stuff, I'm sure, pretty soon. I'll have new videos tomorrow. So catch you later.
Thanks, Kev.
All right,
Good
thanks,
night,
Kevin.
everybody.
Bye.